Thanks for tuning in to watch this video. Today I'm going to show you how to actually make a service drive, which is an external hard drive with multiple partitions, and each one of those partitions having a live version of Mac OS X in order to boot into it. So as you can kind of see on my desktop here, we have all these drives mounted. It looks like I have a whole bunch going on. I'm going to jump into disk utility so we can talk about what exactly is going on over here. Okay, so basically what I've done is I have created an external hard drive. It's a 320 gigabyte Toshiba external drive, and I partitioned it 11 different times. And within this, I have 4 installers and actually 4 live images, as you can see here. So I have an installer for 10.5, an installer for 10.6, an installer for 10.7, and an installer for 10.8. In addition to that, I actually have live bootable versions of this operating system in the multiple flavors here. So I have Leopard, Snow Leopard, Lion, and Mountain Lion. Now all of these are fully bootable. I can option boot into these. They'll boot completely up and run just like every other operating system. These are great because it makes it easy to copy these directly from my external drive to another hard drive when I'm doing an operating system install for one of my customers. In addition to that, I've actually created a software storage partition where I just keep a lot of my live packages that I might want to install, like different software that my customers might need or want. And then I actually created a service drive for Snow Leopard and a service drive for Mountain Lion. Basically, those again are live versions of the operating system that have special software to suit my needs when I'm doing work on certain machines. So I'm going to go ahead and just eject this and then show you guys how I did it from scratch with the new drive, and we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to disconnect this, and I'm going to go ahead and plug in my new external. Just a sec, let this thing show up my disk utility. Okay, so now I have a new external drive that's plugged in, and so I'm all ready to get started here. First and foremost, in order to do this from scratch, you have to have the install disks for Leopard, Snow Leopard, Lion, and Mountain Lion, and you have to have 2 computers because you're going to need your main computer like the one I'm currently working on, and you're actually going to need a demo laptop, something that you can install the operating system on and go from there. So the first thing we're going to do is plug in your external, and we're going to partition it to appropriate sizes. You're going to need at least 30 gigs per partition in order to run a live version of the operating system. So on this particular external, it's only a 250. I'm not going to create as many partitions as I did on my service drive I gave you the example of. And so each one of these, I just went into here, I went into partition, I selected 5 partitions, and then that's going to give me a 50 gigabyte size for each one of the partitions. So this is plenty space that I have to go ahead and install a live version of the operating system on. Now, the reason I mentioned that you need to have a secondary computer, because you have to have a copy of that operating system in order to copy it to your actual hard drive. You need to have a live running version of it. The best way to do that is to take your Leopard disk, install your Leopard disk on another laptop, update that version all the way through all the updates through Apple, get all of your settings the way that you want it, so it's like a template for you basically, and go ahead and shut that machine down. I'm going to go ahead and just jump over to my camera, show you how I have mine set up. Mine is already ready to go, and I'm going to boot it up into target disk mode and show you guys. So we'll jump over to my camera and we'll go from there. Okay, so this is my current setup. Just like the video before, where you're talking about how you are going to need 2 computers in order to make this work. This is my current setup. I have my main service computer, and I have the secondary computer that we're going to be installing the operating systems on. So, like in the earlier tutorial, we were installing an operating system on this machine. We're going to upgrade it to all the actual current settings, the newest updates, and we're going to start off with Leopard because that's the one that I want to copy over to my service drive and have a bootable live version of Leopard on my external hard drive. So after I use my install disk to install Leopard on here, and I go through all the progressive updates and put all the settings the way that I want to, the same way that I would want it if I were to boot into it externally, I'd shut the machine down. The next step is actually getting this machine into target disk mode. We get the machine into target disk mode by simply turning it on and holding the T button. Once you see the FireWire symbol pop up on the screen like so, this indicates that it's currently in target disk mode, and this will allow us to actually take a via FireWire, which you see just that black cable to the left, connect it to my service computer, and now my service computer is reading this computer the same as it would an external hard drive. So then we can proceed into the next step in our tutorial video. This is my service drive. As you can see, there was disk utility that we're talking about, and we'll jump right back into that so we can show you guys how all that's done. Okay, so now we've talked about how we've set up the hard drive, and we've talked about how I actually have the laptops currently configured, and we're ready to actually copy the live image from our demo laptop to our external hard drive, and we can make it bootable. So as you can see here, this is the computer that we were just looking at from my actual camera. This is my demo laptop. It's booted up into target disk mode, and it's currently plugged into my service laptop. This is the live image of the operating system. So now we're going to copy this live image to one of these partitions on the new external drive, and that will allow me to option boot into it. So in the future, I can just boot my machine up when it's plugged into my external. I can hold down the option key. All my live and bootable operating system flavors will show up on the screen, and I can choose which one I want to boot into. Or I can simply, in the future, directly copy using disk utility the actual operating system image directly to my customer's new hard drive. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'll show you how to do it. So we go into Restore. Now, when we click Restore, this part is pretty important. You do not want to mess this up and do it wrong, or you're going to completely wipe out the live version of your hard drive. You're going to start off with the source. Source means where are you copying from? Now, thinking about it, we're copying the live operating system from our demo laptop, and we're going to copy it to one of the partitions on the external. So the source is, where is it coming from? Well, right here, it's already populated. If you don't see that, you can just drag it over. It was like that because it was highlighted when I clicked Restore. So next, we have to select the destination. And I'm going to go ahead and just select Untitled 1, and I'm going to drag it right down here. Then we're just going to click Restore. It's going to ask if we want to erase, which is fine. There's nothing on it. It's going to prompt me for my password. We're going to go and pop that in there for you guys. Now it's copying the live version of the operating system from my demo laptop to this partition on my external drive. This is the same way that I install operating systems for my customers. So when I have a customer that comes in and they want a new hard drive, their hard drive crashed, they need to have one installed, they need a version of the operating system. I have my operating systems already installed, up to date, with all the settings the way that I want them, that are defaulted, kind of like factory. I plug in the new hard drive to my service caddy. It shows up in disk utility. I go to Restore. I drag over the source image, which is the version that they want copied onto their laptop. I put the destination of the new laptop from my service caddy, so I do this the exact same way you guys are watching it. As soon as it's done, I take that hard drive, I install it in my customer's computer, and it boots right up. And you're all good to go. It's going to boot up with the current updates and the current settings that I had on each one of these partitions. And then you would go ahead and you do this for all the rest of the flavors. I know earlier in my tutorial I talked about Leopard. In this particular one, I actually had Mountain Lion installed on it, not Leopard, but it would work the same no matter which one you go with. But you just have to have a secondary demo laptop, and you have to have install disks, so that way you can install the copy of the operating system. When you get that installed on the laptop, you can launch it into target disk mode. You can get into your disk utility on your main laptop, plug everything in, and then just drag it right over to your external, and you'll be good to go. I hope you guys liked this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm not going to make you guys sit here through all the rest of these. Like it, share it, let me know if you have any questions, and please look at my other tutorials. Thanks, guys.